Konnichiwa, and welcome to the latest edition of the Bellapop collection. Today I'm going to be talking about the most famous Japanese artist of all time, Katsushika Hokusai. Hokusai was born in Edo, modern-day Tokyo, in 1760. He worked in the Edo period, which lasted from 1603 to 1868, the greatest and most influential period in Japanese art history. At this point, foreigners were not allowed into Japan and the Japanese were not allowed out, creating a cultural and artistic melting pot with limited outside influence. The son of a mirror craftsman, Hokusai started an apprenticeship as a 13-year-old in an engraver's workshop and by 19 decided that he would become an artist. He studied in the workshop of Katsukawa Shunsho, a master woodblock printer who introduced Hokusai to ukiyo-e, the practice of depicting courtesans and popular kabuki actors of the time. Contemporary ukiyo-e artists of the time included Kunisada, Utamaro, and Ai-san. On Katsukawa's death in 1793, Hokusai began to seek inspiration in Japanese mythology and folklore, as well as focusing on landscape and everyday life in Edo, in painting and woodblock. From 1811, Hokusai began producing publications known as Manga Sketches, including landscapes, flora and fauna, everyday life, and the supernatural. These unrelated images, block printed in 3 colours, produced over 15 volumes, served as instruction manuals for contemporary artists. He also produced erotic and taboo shunga, an early form of pornography, which was extremely popular for collectors, and brought Hokusai to great fame in Japan. During this period, wealthy collectors began commissioning Hokusai to create limited, small format woodblock prints known as tsurumonos, as invitations for special occasions such as New Year celebrations and parties. This rare original tsurumono, the Fujiwara, the pearls of ebb and flow and the coiled scythe of the Fujiwara clan, was produced in 1822. It depicts the jewels that were a present from the Dragon King of the Sea to Takeuchi no Sukune to ensure the safe passage of the Japanese fleet to Korea. Being produced in small numbers for a mostly educated audience of literati, tsurumono were often more experimental in subject matter and treatment and extravagant in printing technique than commercial prints. Yet despite his fame and his association with wealthy collectors, actors and literati, Hokusai was an artist of the people and he preferred to live a nomad's existence, travelling from town to town and cataloguing what and who he witnessed. In 1830, at age 70, he began his most famous series of works titled 36 Views of Mount Fuji. Using a Western perspective emphasising depth and volume, this series of woodblocks depicts the spiritual wonder, Mount Fuji, from different views, contexts and conditions, interwoven with everyday life and practices in Japan. Among the 36 views is the Great Wave off Kanagawa, unquestionably the most iconic, recognisable and reproduced Japanese art image in the world. When Japanese art was discovered in Europe by accident in the 1880s, Hokusai and his contemporaries became primary inspiration to a new generation of famous artists such as Monet, Degas, and Vincent van Gogh, to name a few. This new style with Japanese influence was known as Japanisme and was the cornerstone for modern art that emerged in the early 20th century. Hokusai passed away in 1849 and left behind a huge legacy of paintings and woodblock prints. At Bellapop, we have other early official posthumous reproductions of Hokusai's work, including Hibiscus and Sparrow, from an untitled series known as Large Flowers, produced around 1830, and The Timber Yard at Honjo, produced as a supplement to the 36 Views of Mount Fuji, produced around 1840. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Bellapop collection and I hope you've learned something new. At the moment we've got a new exhibition of Japanese art at Bellapop with over 100 original works from artists from Hokusai and his contemporaries through to the current day. So please come and check it out. and I hope to see you next time. Take care.